Today, other interesting business news, you have Lucid getting an additional $1 billion investment from the Saudi government. Now, this comes to us thanks to electrek.co, which A plus for marketing, you know exactly what this website is all about, which is electric vehicles. And Lucid, they've had many issues for quite some time. They sell a premium, or what they call a premium electric vehicle, and apparently they're going to come out with a SUV soon. Hooray! And let's just pull up their stock really quick to see, how's that looking. Spoiler alert, last time we checked, it was not that great. Not as bad as something falling terribly like GameStop a couple of years ago. But if we just pull up Lucid Motors, what's it going for? And it's not as bad as Fisker. No, granted, few companies are worse than them. Now, going to Lucid Motors stock. Geez Louise. So for less than the price of coffee or a fast food hamburger, you can get a share of Lucid stock. Not recommend it. I don't give financial advice. And they don't even pay dividends, so they didn't give you an incentive to keep the stock. Now, nevertheless, the current stock price per share is $2.82, which means it's cheaper to buy a single cup of coffee at Starbucks or Black Rifle Coffee. No, take that, like Willy Wonka said. Stop, reverse that. It's cheaper to buy one share of stock than actually buy a cup of coffee. And again, the saving grace for Lucid is, well, they do have a moderate niche market. One of the Lucid Air Sapphire Banana Falcon, where they call their top trim line, is $250,000 for an electric sedan. Which, again, I'm not sure who's in charge of the marketing department or the design, but they all look the same in terms of they have one that starts at like $95,000. Maybe they reduced it a little bit, but again, it's kind of one of the demise of the Chevy SS back in the day. Great vehicle, but it looks so similar to the Chevy Impala and Malibu. No one really knew it existed. They just thought it blended in. And if I'm spending $250,000, it's sure as hell not going to be on first of all, it's going to have 3 pedals, like every car should have by default. But second of all, it's not going to be an EV sedan that's basically disposable, as all electric vehicles are for now. Always have to caveat that because technology moves quickly. There very well may be some magical technology that allows these vehicles to be reliable for the long term. Although, even if that is the case, you're still locked into a single manufacturer to actually work in your vehicle, which is not good for independent, repair shops and mom and pop shops, as well as consumer choice. But I moderately digress. Again, so it's $2.82 per share. Now, I would say the 5-day trend actually increased by 4.26%. I suspect partially because of the news of them getting $1 billion. Now, 1 month, though, it's not great. 1 month is down 10.63%. In the past 6 months, it's down almost 50%. It's down 46.99%. Year to date, down 30%. In the past year, 12 months, it's down 65.42%. Past 5 years, it's down 71.49%, which is terrible to say the least. Now, the silver lining with Lucid, again, not giving you financial advice, is that Saudi Arabia loves them. They're the largest investor of the company. In fact, I'll double check this article. I'm pretty sure they have over 51% of the stock. And if you look at the Saudi Arabian government and what they want to do from a business perspective, they increasingly are attempting to move away from the traditional oil products that have helped their country become so astronomically prosperous. That's why they're luring tech companies to set up offices there. And in some regions in the Middle East, actually is a point of business, or not a constraint to business, as a term or condition to do business in the area, you must have a local headquarters there. Which, again, that is going to drive more in IT investment, and they'll have to hire some local folks. They'll increase their economic diversity. They want to be more of a tech place than an oil place, because I suspect, hundreds of years from now, the oil will eventually be gone or be prohibitively expensive to actually access. So that's one of the reasons they have a big push to go more technology focused. You see the same thing in Dubai. Now, this is, again, thanks to Peter Johnson over at electrek.com. And they say, quote, Lucid gets another $1 billion investment as it prepares to launch Gravity electric SUV, which it'll be interesting. Again, that's a very competitive market. You already have Tesla owning well over 50% of EV sales. They have they have pretty much the best engineering resources on the planet, and they already have their factories that are a marvel of engineering and productivity perspective. Now, specifically, it looks like Lucid got another $1 billion investment from the Saudi Public Investment Fund, also known as PIF, Affiliate AR Third Investment Co. The new funding will help support the launch of Lucid's first electric SUV, the Gravity, later this year. Now, Lucid CEO Peter Rawlinson said, quote, "We are extremely pleased to receive this strong continued support from the PIF as we work to solidify our place at the world's leading EV technology company," unquote. Now, it looks like Saudi Arabia's PIF already owns more than 60% stake in Lucid. Since 2018, PIF has invested around $5.4 billion in the EV maker, which, again, for them is basically nothing when you look at the total market cap and the total value that that country has. Now, it looks like Lucid expects to build around 9,000 vehicles this year, only slightly increasing from 8,420 EVs produced in 2023, which, if they hit those sales numbers, I would actually be pretty impressed given the economic uncertainty for 2024. Most people and businesses are decreasing their spend, especially when it comes to frivolous things like luxury items, which Lucid is the pinnacle of a luxury item you do not need. Again, they start, what was it? Is it $85,000 or $95,000 all the way up to $250,000 for an electric sedan? No one needs that. So if they can actually increase their unit production during this year, I would be pretty darn impressed. They've also increased their global production capabilities. They, of course, may manufacture them predominantly in the United States. But again, Saudi Arabia, being a big investor, they actually just set up a factory there. It was at Q3 2023, I believe, where it is kind of funny in terms of logistics and manufacturing perspective. But in the short term, they're actually assembling them, disassembling them in the United States, shipping them as parts to Saudi Arabia, and then assembling them there. But they are building out a whole factory, and then long term, the suspicion, or many people suspect, that it'll be actually manufactured in Saudi Arabia. So again, their stock is struggling to say the least, but they keep getting all this investments from Saudi Arabia, and I don't want to say they basically have no limit of money, but they have a lot of money to throw around. So perhaps that's a little reassurance for the people working at Lucid. But again, the electric SUV market is extremely competitive. You look at the trends of automotive adoption rates in the United States, the largest growing category is hybrids, not electric vehicles. So there's increase in EV sales, but the adoption rate is decreasing. So it'll be interesting. Would you ever buy a Lucid, a Lucid Gravity? Which, I'll at least give them a modicum of credit. From a marketing perspective, they did choose a funny, interesting name, as opposed to the cliche just naming them after simple nomenclature, letters and numbers, which, to me, is kind of boring, but I understand that perhaps is to build a loyalty to the brand versus the model number of the vehicle. So at least they chose a somewhat interesting name for their vehicles. They have the Air, which is their little sedan. They have Gravity being the SUV. I thought they were going to stick with elements. They could do earth, wind, water, fire, but I partially digress. Let me know, would you ever buy a Lucid SUV? As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leave me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.